Hello students, welcome back to your science class. So student, in the previous class in this chapter, that is structure and function of cell, here in this case, students, in the structure and function unit of a cell, we were talking about the cell theory. We have seen that the cell theory was given by Schilden and so on, and both of them were German botanist and geologist, and both of them were working on the plant and the animal cells, and finally they came to a conclusion, and they had given some points in the cell theory in which they said that every organism is made up of a very small unit which is called as a cell. Second thing, cell, it is what? It is the basic structural and functional unit of all the living organism. It means every organism consisting of a cell, and this cell is the basic unit. It is responsible for maintaining or in giving structure and also specifying the function of the body. Okay. Now, not only this, students, but we have seen in case the third point included in the cell theory, that every new cell actually it comes from the pre-existing cell. So here pre-existing means old cell, it divide and give rise to new cell. Okay, so this is the cell theory. Now talking about the cell, so there are a lot of variation in the cell, students. Variation, it means it varies, means they can be different in the shape, they can be different in the size, they can be different in the number also. They can be different in the number also, students. So if we discuss about the variation, so variation, it can be of size, it can be of shape, or it can be of number. Talking about the variation in number, basically organism on the basis of the number of a cell, they have been classified into two, that is unicellular and multicellular. Unicellular means the organism which is made up of only one cell, that is called as unicellular. Multicellular, these are the organisms which are made up of more than one cell, is called a multicellular organism, students. So, multicellular made up of many cells. So you see here, students, that in case of a unicellular, examples are a lot, like amoeba is there, paramecium is there, euglena is there. These are what? These are the unicellular organism. Now since they are made up of only one cell, so the one cell have to perform everything. It means the one cell will going to perform all the basic necessity, all the basic activities which is required for the survival of the cell. While in case of the multicellular organism, all plants, animals, humans, they all are included. Even some of the microorganisms like fungus, they are included into that of the fungus can be unicellular or multicellular, you know that. So yes, these are also included into the multicellular organism, students. So here, since it is multicellular, it means it is having a lot of a cell. So every cell is specified with their function. So there is no such a workload has been given to a one single cell. Division of the labor is there, and ultimately workload will be less. So we have seen in case of the multicellular organism that it has been classified into different level. Different level, student. If we see that how an organism is made up of. So organism is made up of a cell. First of all, cell is there, which is the smallest unit. Now these cell, when it combined with the number of a cell together, then there is a formation of a tissue. So tissue is nothing but it is a group of a cells. Okay, which is having this specialized function. So that is why it is also called as a group of a specialized cell is called as a tissue. Okay, then organ is there. So when a different cells, different tissues, they combine together, or they forms the organ. Lungs, heart, these all are what? These all are the organs. Okay, then we will see the organ system. What is an organ system? So organ system. In case of an organ system, it is made up of group of organs, group of different organs. groups of different organ performing a specific task. Performing a specific task. It helps in performing a specific task. Example, a lot of organ system example is there, like digestive system. Respiratory system. Okay. So digestive system, respiratory system, these are what? If we're talking about the digestive system, so different organs are there, student, which are having their own specific task. Like in case of a digestive system, you can see that stomach is there, liver is there, intestine is there, gallbladder is there. These are the different organs. Okay, and so here in the digestive system, a lot of different organs, they are doing their specific tasks, they are doing their jobs, and ultimately it helps in forming the digestive system. Similarly, in case of a respiratory system also, student, lungs are there, then trachea is there, bronchi is there, okay, bronchioles is there, although it is a part of a lung. So yes, trachea is there, which is called as the windpipe, nose is there, then pharynx is there, students, and lungs is there, diaphragm is there. So these all helpful in making the system that is called as a respiratory system. Similarly, in case of a circulatory system, human heart, it is itself an organ. Capillaries, arteries, which is the blood vessels, these all are the organs. So these organs, they combine together and ultimately they form a system called organ system, which is a circulatory system. So the thing that we want to explain here, that in case of an organ system, different organ which are specified with their own function, they work together and completely they work as a system, that is called as the organ system. Moving on, and we will see an organism. Organisms. Now what is an organism, student? It is made up of one or more organ system which work together. One or more organ system which work together to perform all the functions, necessary for sustaining life. Necessary for sustaining life. So we have understood here what are the different level of organization, grade of organization, students. So here, first of all, a cell is there. The cell combined with the different types of different cells, and finally there is a formation of a specialized cell called as tissues. Now these tissues, again, they combine together to form an organ. The organs, they used to combine to form organ system, and different organ system collectively form an organism. So this is how the formation of an organism happen in case of a multicellular organism. And this is how we can say that every cell is specialized, or every group of a cell is specialized with their functions, and they used to perform their functions according to that student. So this is about the unicellular and multicellular organism. Now we have seen that what kind of a variation that will be occur if we will see in case of a number. Now let us see the variation in shape also, that how cells vary in their shapes, or how different cells they are different from each other, they differ from each other from shape of the cell. So, variation in shape. There are different types of cell, students, they vary with their shape. Like if we talk in case of a pseudopodia. So pseudopodia is what? It is a false feet. Why it is called as a false feet? Because it do not have a specific shape. They used to keep the shape changing according to the movement. Now the pseudopodia, basically it is formed when a food reaches to the surface of the amoeba. It used to engulf that food, and at that time formation of a pseudopodia, which is called as a false feet, occur. Okay, and with the help of the pseudopodia only, they used to engulf the food into it, and finally the formation of a vacuole happen, and it will help in digestion of the food inside it. Okay, so we can say here that there are different shape of the cells are also there, like oval is there, polygonal is there, students, then elongated is there, branch is there, spherical is there. So these are what are the different shape of the cells are available. And the shape of the cells, it used to vary. What is the reason? It is because they perform different function, and according to their function they used to vary. Like student, if we see in case of a nerve cell are generally elongated and they are branched. Okay, they are having dendrites, and the reason is that since they have to take the nerve impulses and the information to the brain, and also to carry the information from the brain to the different parts. That is why they are having such kind of a shape. Okay, so we can say that the shape of the cell vary depends upon the kind of a function they are going to perform. So we can write here that cells have different shapes. It can be oval, it can be polygonal, it can be oval, it can be polygonal, it can be spherical, it can be elongated, branched, or even irregular. Okay, oval, polygonal, spherical, elongated, branched, or even irregular. These are the different shape of the cells. And the shape of the cell depends on specific function, it performs. Okay, so shape of the cells, it depends on the specific function they used to perform. Now let us see few examples in order to understand the concept. So here we can write few examples, students. So first of all, we will take an example of a amoeba, that how amoeba vary from the other. So amoeba, this is the first one. Amoeba is what? It is a unicellular organism. Amoeba. It is an unicellular organisms. It is a unicellular organism, and this unicellular organism is having no definite shape. Okay? Having no definite shape, changes its shape with the help of pseudopodia. With the help of pseudopodia. It used to change its shape with the help of pseudopodia. That is projection of the body. That are projection of the projection of the body, students. So when you look at the structure, you will be able to understand the concept also. Let me draw it. First of all, let me tell you the role of the pseudopodia. So these pseudopodia helps to grab the food. Helps to grab the food and move from one place to another. So this is what, student? This is amoeba. This is pseudopodia. This one is nucleus. This is the vacuole, you can say. Okay. So basically, what are the things that we have to understand here? Since we are talking about the variation in shape, we said that amoeba is what? It do not have a definite shape, because the shape used to continuously changes, and the change in shape occur because of the presence of the projections. You can see here in the body there are projections are there, and these projections which is present in the body of amoeba is called as pseudopodia. Now what is the role of the pseudopodia? So basically it helps in the movement. So you can understand now that why it do not have a definite shape, because whenever it used to move, it changes its shape because of the presence of this projection. Okay, so we can say here that it help in the movement. Pseudopodia help in the movement, as well as when food comes near to it, it help in engulfing, it help in taking the food, it help in eating the food or taking the food inside. This is the role of pseudopodia. What happened with the food reaches to the amoeba? So suppose, student, this is what? This is amoeba. Let me draw it again. So suppose this is what? This is amoeba. when the food reaches to amoeba. So suppose here the food reaches to amoeba. Okay, at that time it will be like it will be like this. So food is what it will be present here. So it used to engulf the food, it used to catch the food. So the first role of the pseudopodia, it helps in grabbing the food which comes near to its surface, as well as the pseudopodia also help in the movement of the body. Okay, so this is the first example in case of a variation of shape students, in which we have seen that how the variation can be seen in a unicellular organism. But this kind of a shape change, or this kind of a different shape, is not only present in case of a unicellular but in case of a multicellular. You know that in case of a multicellular organism, we all are consisting of a different kind of a cell. Obviously, if different types of a cells are there, so their shapes also vary from each other. Now let us see that what are the different types or different shape of the cells are present in case of a multicellular organisms. So first one is nerve cell. This is an example of a unicellular. So nerve cell. Nerve cell is what? Nerve cell is, or nerve cells are fibrous and elongated cells. These are fibrous and elongated, and they can be more than 1 meter long. These can be more than 1 meter long. Then other thing, that is, what is the main role? They used to carry the messages from one part to the other. So these carry the messages. These carry the messages from one part of the body to the other. One part of the body to the other, which help in control and coordination. Which helps in control and coordination in body. So what is the role of the nerve cells? Nerve cells are generally very elongated. They are they are longer students, even they are 1 meter long. So you can understand that is why they are called as the longest cell in human body. And they used to carry the messages. Their role is to carry the message from one part of the body to the other. You know that whatever the thing that we used to do, it is controlled by our human brain. So who used to give the informations? So basically, this is the role of the nerve cells, which used to carry the message from the brain to the respective part, or from the part to the brain. Okay, so this is how the control and the coordination process occur. This is how we used to coordinate with our body, with the brain, and this is how the brain used to control us, and the body works. Okay, so if you look at the diagram, students, although that is not in your syllabus, but if you want to see that, it will be like there will be myelin sheath is there, and here Okay, and then this all will be like okay, myelin sheets are there. From this one also a lot of branches is formed along with it. Okay, then inside it a nucleus is present in it. So this is how you will going to see the structure of a nerve cells. Basically, when you look at it, it is what? It is like it is combined with each other. Okay, so we will see it in detail in the higher sections. Till that we have to simply understand that the nerve cells, they are elongated, they are fibrous and they are branched also. Okay, and the role of the nerve cells is to carry the message from one part to the other, and this is how they help in the control and coordination of the body, students. Now let us see the other kind of a cell like the muscle cells. So muscle cells are also the differ from the other cells. So muscle cells are thin and long. Muscle cells are thin and long. They are thin and long. They are spindle shaped. They exhibit spindle shape. Exhibit spindle shape, and this spindle shape which helps them in contraction and relaxation, them in movement, help them in movement through contraction and expansion of the muscles. Okay, so they exhibit a spindle shape. They are generally spindle in shape, students. So when you look at the structure, it will be like, actually when you look at the structure, it will be like spindle shape, students. Okay, and the nucleus is present in it. This is how a lot of muscle cells are present. Okay, so they are in the form of a spindle shape, and the role of these spindle shaped muscle cells are that they help in the movement of the muscles by contracting and expanding. So the contraction and expansion is the major role of the muscle cells. They are spindle in shape and they help in the movement of muscles. And finally, students, we can take another example like skin cells. So when you look at the skin cell, they are flat. Skin cells are flat in shape. Are flat in shape. These are flat in shape and are spread over a large area. Okay, so skin cells are what? These are the cells which are present all over the area and they are generally flat in shape. So this is what, student, this is the variation in the shape. So how we have understood, with the help of this topic, we have understood that every cells, whether it can be a unicellular or it can be in the multicellular, all the cells, the chances is that they vary in the shape and they differ from each other from the shape because of their function. Since they have to perform the different specified function, that is why they are having the different shapes also, students. Next one is there is a change only, not only the variation is in the number, in the shape, but also the variation is in the size also. So there are the cells which are bigger in size or which are smaller in size. Like if we see in case of a human body, so the smallest cell present in the human body is the red blood cells. They are the smallest one, while the longest is the nerve cells. They are elongated cells.